Hello and welcome. Today, author R.T. Cagle shares another inspiring story from the Bedtime Stories with Heart and Soul series, written to help you slow down, reflect, and end the day with a little more peace. Now, here's the author.
Hello, my name is author R.T. Cagles. Today's story is called Tailgate Rally. So, let's get started. Emma squinted into the early morning sun as she set up her table, fighting the brisk wind that seemed to have arrived just to mess with her banners. Bold red letters on one sign read, "Tailgate Rally, share because you care." And the tagline beneath it emphasized the purpose of the event. Rev up the engines, open up the hearts. This wasn't Emma's first community event. She'd organized everything from park cleanups to 5K charity races, but the Tailgate Rally was her pet project, a tribute to her late father's love for classic cars and community. Her dad, once a proud owner of a 1966 Ford Mustang, had spent weekends helping anyone in need, whether they needed a ride, repairs, or just a good old-fashioned pep talk. The rally was Emma's way to remember him by bringing together neighbors, family, and friends to show their generosity with everything from clothes and toys to canned goods and essentials for those less fortunate. Need any help with that?" called out her best friend Mark from across the lot, his 1979 Volkswagen Westphalia packed with donated winter jackets and blankets. "I'll never say no to help," she shouted back, waving him over. He jogged over, his usual friendly grin in place, and together they fastened the last few signs, each one inviting attendees to donate what they could, share stories, and enjoy the festival. The rally soon filled up with cars of every make and model, from shiny new SUVs to the quirkiest, loudest old pickup trucks anyone had ever seen. People bustled around, unloading bags, chatting, and, of course, ogling each other's cars. Families brought food and home-baked treats, local businesses handed out samples, and kids in team jerseys bounced excitedly from one booth to the next, waving mini flags that said, "Share and Drive." A high-energy MC kept things lively with trivia contests and prizes, while a live band played classics that drew the occasional dance circle. Emma's heart warmed as she watched it all, feeling her dad's spirit in the cheerful chaos. Suddenly, she noticed a familiar face in the crowd. Gabe, a regular at the local shelter, was leaning against his weathered Chevy Nova, admiring the shiny chrome of Mark's VW. Emma walked over to him with a grin. "Gabe, glad you made it." Gabe nodded, his lined face breaking into a grateful smile. "Couldn't resist. Brings back memories, you know? My dad and I worked on cars for hours every weekend back in the day." "Tell me about it," Emma said, handing him a hot coffee from a nearby booth. "I think my dad loved fixing cars almost as much as he loved people." Gabe chuckled. "Your old man was something else, always made me feel like family." His gaze softened as he looked out over the rally, his eyes taking in the mix of people, young and old, gathered for one purpose, to give and support each other. As the sun climbed higher, Mark set up the Revving for Good contest, a competition that gave car owners 1 minute to rev their engines, with each rev earning a donation from a local sponsor. The roar of engines soon filled the lot as drivers competed for the loudest, longest roar, their sounds echoing with laughter and cheers. One by one, people stepped up, their engines rumbling in tune with the spirit of giving. Even Gabe took a turn, his rusty Nova drawing laughs when it revved loud enough to startle a few nearby kids, who giggled and covered their ears. Then came the highlight of the day, a tailgate sharing circle. Mark invited everyone to gather around the parking lot where the cars were parked in a loose, imperfect circle. Emma watched as people opened up their trunks, beds, and tailgates to reveal the items they'd brought to share. A family with an old red pickup laid out toys and games they no longer needed. Another neighbor spread out backpacks stuffed with school supplies, and one teenage girl even set out care packages she'd made herself, with handwritten notes saying, "You matter." People started milling around, exchanging items, stories, and laughter. Emma heard snippets of conversations, stories of hard times, good times, and hope for better days ahead. For every item taken, a kind word was shared, and for every piece of clothing picked up, a story was traded. "Look at this, Em," said Mark, nudging her shoulder. "This is why we do it. This is what your dad would have wanted." Emma's eyes welled with tears, but she kept her smile steady. It's more than I could have asked for." Just then, she noticed a man at the far edge of the lot, standing beside an old, beat-up Ford Bronco. He was dressed in faded work jeans, his eyes downcast as he watched the gathering. Something about his stance seemed lonely, like he wanted to be part of it but didn't quite know how. Emma approached him, offering a friendly smile. "Hi there. You're welcome to join in. Got anything you'd like to share?" The man looked up, surprise flickering in his gaze. "Oh, I didn't bring much. Just came to look. I didn't realize people were sharing so freely." "That's what this rally's all about," Emma said gently. "We share because we care. Even if you don't have anything physical to give, you're still part of this community." He glanced down at his Bronco and then back at Emma, his eyes softening. "I have some tools in the back. Used to fix cars, you know. Maybe someone could use them." "That's perfect," Emma said, motioning him to join. "Come on, let's set them out." As he laid out his tools, he began sharing stories of his past, telling others about repairs he'd done, tricks he'd learned, and cars he'd loved and lost. Soon, a small crowd gathered around him, listening and asking questions, their faces alight with interest. By afternoon, the rally was in full swing, everyone laughing, swapping items, and connecting in ways that went beyond material goods. The Revving for Good contest was a hit, raising over $5,000 for the local shelter. But what struck Emma most was the visible sense of community that had grown in just a few hours. At the day's end, she gathered everyone together for a closing speech. She looked around at the faces, some familiar and some new, and felt her heart swell. "Thank you all for coming out today, for sharing your time, your stories, and a little piece of yourselves. This isn't just about giving stuff. It's about giving hope, kindness, and reminding each other that we're in this together. My dad always believed that sharing what you have, no matter how small, can change lives. And seeing all of you here today proves he was right." Cheers and applause echoed through the lot, and as the crowd began to disperse, people exchanged hugs, handshakes, and promises to meet again soon. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a warm glow over the lot, Emma stood with Mark, watching the last cars roll away, leaving behind a sense of shared purpose. Mark grinned, slinging an arm around her shoulder. "So, think your dad would have been proud?" Emma laughed, leaning into the hug. "Oh, he'd be beaming. I can practically hear him now telling me, 'CM, a little bit of sharing goes a long way.'" And so, in that moment, as the last rays of sunlight faded, Emma knew that the Tailgate Rally would become an annual tradition, a lasting legacy of her father's spirit, and a reminder that no matter what we have, there's always something we can share because we care. Thank you for joining me.
Hello again. As we come to a close, remember to like, subscribe, and follow us so you don't miss a single adventure. Thank you for spending this heartfelt moment with us. Until next time, we hope this story brought you a little peace as the day comes to a close.